Today is the first time I've read through my emails I've gotten, and there have been a lot of questions, so I answer some questions here, what my view is, and of course you don't have to have the same view, it's just how I do things, so choose what works and what doesn't. And here are charging of crystals, items, and etc. I consecrate things once, and once it's consecrated by the angels, I don't ever do chargings against. The angels are present in this home, and I do rituals every day, even if they get simpler, as the angels come in and you talk to them every day. So I do one consecration and that's it. Only when it's a new thing or something special. And that was those two. And about spirit houses, altar, sacred space, and so on. Spirit houses, I don't practice it myself. It's like a jar where you put in earth or something from the river, or leaf and feathers and whatever there is, like a home for the spirit, from which, if it comes from Jupiter, you put Jupiterian things in there, or a sun, what is associated, or if it's elementals, earth, moss, things like that, and create a nice place. And altars, I have an Enochian, one for the archangels and one for the Shem angels. And then I got these where I do for Ukraine, prayers for Ukraine, where I put specifically, and when I do something I just, or if I want to charge something, I use the plate I demonstrated here. Or bind, or I don't do binding so much, but just I use it. So, charge jewelry, spirits bound to rings. No, there are no spirits in these rings, but some of them are consecrated to different angels. And so forth. And disposal of evil objects. If something is really cursed, or if it's got a demonic presence in it, just I say a prayer and bury it in the earth, unless it's toxic and you have to check out that it doesn't hurt nature or anything. I actually have one cursed object here. I bound it, I did it with Vevalia, and it's, but I don't know where to dispose of it safely, since that has, as soon as I touch it, it gives a headache and I feel nauseous, and I don't want to spread it, so I actually don't know where to dispose of it. And exorcism and conjuration. Exorcism is also in the old grimoires it's used, it is also to command. So you can command that the spirits leave a house, or you can, or if it's a Catholic priest doing exorcism, he can ask for Virgin Mary or Christ to, or the Holy Spirit to command out the demons. And conjuration is also one. Sometimes they are used at the same time and in different places, especially in the really old books. And exorcism, it means command. And to make something to leave, and just leave the place and to go somewhere else. Sometimes binding is used into, if it's an object that you can take the object out and bury it, and but that's not so much something you do often. And do I have consecrated ink pen paper? Yes, I do. But I use whatever I have at hand. I have real ink and all these calligraphy pen sets and everything that is gathering dust. With my beautiful handwriting, you can see that with my bad eyesight it's not happening so much anymore, so I use a pencil and so on. And would I do offerings and what? I used to do offerings out in nature. I carry a bottle of water that I bless to trees that are sick, or if there is pollution in the water or streams around, then I have a charcoal, medical charcoal that I put in the water that is blessed by Michael. So in that way, even if it's just one medical charcoal, it still takes the toxins out. The same kind you get if you have taken an overdose or something. And pacts. I have done none. And I believe that they can be broken. So, but you have to work hard for it. And that's not something I should do or ever recommend anyone to do. And Spirit Signals My View. And as I said, this book that I created to show on camera is more powerful than any of those you can buy, since they are hand drawn by me. And once they are hand drawn, I call in the angel. And the angel's energy touches this sigil. So that means that this book is alive. And we have all the gem angels here. And I always draw. Tracing in a book isn't enough. You just get on there and draw, and or etch if you use metal, and so on. And you always ask the spirit in hand to make the thing. And there we have the same here, Raphael. So my Dr. Ratsguisha and the books I have, they don't have the power, but this book does the power, since this is the book I can hold the ritual. So every spirit does this angel that is in this book is in this book. And if you follow really through old things, this should be inherited by someone in the course when I go move to the other side, and or buried in a churchyard. So that's the really old tradition here. And then, if I work with spirit, ancestral house, fairies, elves, and familiars, I don't work with ancestral spirits. Due to my upbringing, my mother and all the necromancy, it was always necromancy and churchyards, and that's just not me. And my mother's side of the family hated me in real life, so that's how it goes. But I do say, ask the angel to bring messages to the other side, but I don't connect. And if I do house spirits, no, fairies, elves, etc. I actually do the old practice that since in the angelology there is that one angel governs 2 kilometers in diameter in a circle around each tree. So I just call out to the angel, and they can see through for quite a big. So I go to the angel, and that angel connects to them. So that's my way of doing things. And I never heard anybody else do it like that, but that's how I do it, and it works. And dragons. My dragons from my early life, like Cassiel and Raziel turned up as dragons in my childhood. They looked more like wyvern or drake, not like those with 4 legs that goes on all fours. So this is, or like Smaug in Tolkien. They look more like that. And aliens, do I believe in them? I don't know. The universe is great. But there is one thing that I found out, that abduction and demonic oppression and attack, how I describe feeling the attack and being ripped out of your body and being bound in the middle of the air until Michael and Uriel usually comes, or Vevalia or some. I think that they are quite similar, since sometimes I suffered so badly that my ear started to bleed. So there was a lot of blood running out from my ear, and that's happened multiple times. So I don't really know if it's, are there something similar. Am I Christian or other? I don't follow a religion. I know that I love God, and I work with the angels and dragons, and I study, and some saints, Saint John of the Cross and Aquinas has come to me in my dreams, and that's it. And daily prayer, Holy Guardian Angel, etc. That is something that is part of me. I always do that in the morning. And as I do my rituals for whatever cause it is, since I go around the Shem Angels every 5-6 days there, for the surroundings, for whatever reasons, earthquake areas, wherever I ask them to help, throughout the world as well. And meditation, I know how to practice Buddhist meditation, but it's more like contemplation for me, and I don't dance myself to trance. I did in the 70s. But I just get there by reciting all the texts when I'm doing a full ritual and so on. And I can just sit there and connect and feel the presence. So, and what was it like to growing up in the 70s, 80s and 90s? In the 70s, since animals loved me and protected me, that's when they started to associate me with Omen. And the character of Omen, since my grandfather had a Rottweiler. So I was, so there's been always that. My mother was, and my grandmother and aunt were witches, and my aunt was in Golden Dawn and all that Aleister Crowley things she did. And in the 80s, it was heavy metal for me, and I always loved black, since it's the black and brown and gold and purple and red are my colors, if you say like that. So I look like an occultist, they say. And then in the 90s, when grunge and gothic got in, I was already 30, so I always look like that. And well, it's still the same. I live in an area where there aren't any Christians in this country that practices Christianity. Only 6% of the whole population of Sweden goes to church. Otherwise I would see it as I like statistics, that 80% of the practicing Muslims practice and go to the mosque. So it is more like a Islamic area, if you say it like that. So So it is not something you talk about so much. And of course, they are on lunch break now, the construction crews. But here they are with all my occult paraphilia everywhere. And what I have new since yesterday, I created Facebook Light Marjorie Ek, and I'm trying to get a page going, Classic Angels and Magic. It's just if you want to chat. I don't know even how to use that thing. And Instagram, Ek Marjorie, also my name. And photos, I take close photos of my hand-drawn sigils there so you can see them. And my email that is on this phone is the Classic Angels and Magic on Gmail. And then on the old laptop that is Microsoft that don't connect to this phone, it's Marjorie Ek, whatever is that thing called, and Outlook.com. So that was all for now, and I hope you have a magical day. Bye for now.